Hey, coaches. A lot of what StrongSide was built around, what it does well, is around playbook management. Team management is kind of holistically what happens. And the portion of this that got started earliest is what I would really think of, and coaches might think of as playbook management, install, diagramming, and creating your own plays. The first problem I think a lot of coaches have that not a lot of things solve is having a wide set of playbook information or tags, maybe not tags, of ideas of things that they found on the internet that they want to have exist in their playbook, or they want to be able to save, they want it to be a part of their system. I'll go through a couple things here. Let's start by opening up the public view. So if you go to strongside.app/offense public dashboard, and I'll stick that link somewhere, you can take a look at everything that is public. So if you start an account, it all comes with this. You have something like, I don't know, 500 diagrams and formations and video. And it also gives you an idea of how things are named, which is important because when you have your own account, you don't want to name it this stuff. So let's see. Let's say you call dagger knife or something like that. You call it swashbuckle. Who cares? If you go into a new account, and let's go into search, excuse me, and we will look at dagger. And we can look at this in a couple other places as well. So let's see, we've got the concept of dagger. We've got the play in here for most of our situations. And we've actually added one play right here, doubles, close, offset, stack, dagger, that isn't a default thing, right? So if I have a left formation and a right formation, it's going to automatically put those plays in there, even if so far right now I don't have anything. They're part of my base offense, so even if I've never diagrammed them, they do exist in my playbook. And that's pretty important because if you look at your playbook, and this is a problem for all of us, but in some ways it's good for all of us, as a coach, I know there's 1,000, 5,000, 10,000 variations of what I do. They're all plays that are available to me in my own playbook. And again, if I call left, if I call it Louis and I call dagger swashbuckle, then I as a coach know what Louis swashbuckle is. I might never use that in a season. I might not like the concept for the teams we're playing. It might not be something we run well. It might not be something we use because we have a different thing that does the same, handles the same problems. And as a coach, there's 10,000 or whatever it is for you, things that exist like that. If you drew it up, you want to be able to save it, but you also don't want players to have to be overloaded with stuff that they don't really need. And that comes in over and over again. You see it as simplify your playbook. Simplify your playbook. What we're really talking about there is simplify what you are coaching. Right? Your playbook could have a billion things in it, but you don't need to coach all of those things. And we do this every day. You look at pass protection. I'm not saying, hey, learn all of these things. I'm saying at first, hey, this is how you need to, this is the first step you take. This is what the cadence is, right? I'm coaching a piece of it that is extended to a narrow set of things. Now, whether I call my pass protection Roger, Louis, Jet, right or left, all of those things really come down to I'm telling you, I'm coaching you techniques that are built up into plays or concepts or things that we go out to do to win games. So, going back to this, I have Dagger. I have a video that I found in there, and this will bring up the video for this. Let's see. So we've got 49ers offense, Dagger. I'm sure this is some sort of variation of Dagger. And we'll just say this is, it looks like man. So we would say this is cover one, right? And then if I wanted to say, you know, dagger versus cover one, I'm not going to save this, I think, but now I can add this tag. If I look at it, I can say dagger versus cover one. If I want to search for versus cover one, this is one of the film pieces that would show up. I'm not going to spend too much time on the football side of things because I think we can all kind of understand what those are and how they play into each other. One problem I have when I'm showing things like this to people is we end up talking about football rather than what's actually happening in the system. So I'm going to go back to, this is my dashboard. As a coach, this is where I should really come and be able to see all the stuff that is quickly important to me. So I have my coaches in here, I have my players. I can choose one and see their profile. I'm going to try and avoid covering stuff like players right now and focus on my playbook. So I can see stuff I've recently viewed, right, tight. That's great. Let's start there. And I think it's in here actually. So right tight was something that I just added a moment ago. And I'm going to change it up here so we can see this. And let me see if I can find a couple things in here. This playbook is kind of old, from which I say I say that because it's good. That it is not something anybody's going to really care about. This is all Dartell, Oregon, Pirate. Okay, Quebec. Here we go. Let's see if I can do pass protection. Quebec. All right, so our pass protection out of Quebec is just kind of like your basic, I think people would usually call it like your 90 pass protection. We're making sure we inside gap, and we have these guys. So let's see. I'm going to take this, and I just wanted to be part of my I formation stuff. So let's go back to here, and I'm going to search for I right, and it might not like that because of the capitalizations. No, it did fine. So let's see, I right, fade one. Sure, I don't really have the play completely in here, but I know this is probably something I would stick this pass protection on. So as you saw a minute ago, I took a screenshot of this from a previous huddle thing, and this is where it comes into play that I'm a coach. I don't need to teach 1,000 things, but I want to be able to find them quickly. So I'm going to drop that in there, and I write, as a coach normally you would, using this, you'd have a concept like pass protection or 90 pass pro or whatever. I'm just going to stick it on this fade one concept because that's a nice place to put it. If I was going to run, I think that one's like arrow fade. I think this would be a nice place to, yeah, here we go. It's stuck in there as this. All right. So I've pulled up I right, fade one. Now I'm going to go back down here. This is the concept I have. This is my formation, I right, I left. But now I can start to see other stuff that I already have in here or I saved a long time ago. And let's say I'm going into a game, right? And I know I'm looking at I write stuff as being a key part of our playbook. Well, okay, I have this other stuff in here. Let's take a look at it and say, okay, this might fit for me. And this might be historical information. This might be things that you as a coach picked up, off the internet or whatever and saved. Pretty much everything you're seeing in here in any of this this account that I use goes into a public account here. So kind of talked about that, but let's see. Let's go concept, and then I don't think it's in here as RPO, but it might be. We'll just take this one. So this public item, it's a video that has been stuck in here from some previous season. I can pull it up and I can play it. And as a coach, the nicer thing here, so here's the concept. But if I were to go into inside zone, let's go to offense. We'll go to concepts. and we'll search for inside zone Y stick RPO. Perfect. So let's say I, as a coach, call this something else, right? I think like Razor or something was something. Razor was a concept name used for this at a previous place. So I can stick in here the name Razor, and anywhere else this would become tray left Razor. So now I'm able to quickly make the playbook my own. And if I go into here, I can start to see the related stuff. So I have zone, here's my halfback swing RPO. Here's another play action zone. Here's everything that's related to zone in my concepts, inverted zone read. Let's go to tray left inside zone. And this will give us another way. Again, playbook management just becomes this piece where you know you have something, or you know it exists, or you want to go find it or create it. All of those things are problems as a coach, that we have all these places where we store film or plays, or we like it on Twitter or Facebook or whatever. And let's go to tray left. So now I can get to my tray left formation. And I'm hoping I have something in here. If not, I'm kind of hoping that I might not. Okay, cool. So tray left, this only has a default kind of picture. Now I can see the related plays that exist in here, right? So I've got like a tray, inverted veer, or that zone stick, whatever it might be. I'm going to go into the desktop application though now, and I'm going to search for tray left. And I know tray left doesn't have anything in it. And here we go. We got tray. It looks like it's got the piece of it mostly saved. I'm just going to move some guys around to make sure we get it right. Tray left, right tackle, right guard. Let's move some of these guys around to make it more like, put it in over front, move it around there, and I think as a coach, let's make it like that. On weak. Cool. On strong. The reason this on weak, on strong stuff matters is you can create your own personnel package, and it can update what your playbook looks like. So if you have an offline of scrimmage called Z, when you load that playbook with that package, then this guy no longer has the abbreviation off LOS. It would show it as Z. Okay. So we'll save this guy and we'll update tray left. And it's going to take a bunch of quick screenshots. So here it is. It's taking pictures. It takes some from overview angles and kind of more of a QB perspective, sideline stuff, and then it's going to upload those. So I'm going to hit refresh on this right now. So here's tray left. Oh, and it looks like it was semi-updated in there. Just didn't have pictures. Okay, so our pictures are automatically getting updated in there. And so far it's got 2 of them uploaded. And if we were going in here, you can probably see it's uploading them. I can go in and I can start going to open new stuff, to change stuff, to work on other pieces while it's uploading in the background. That's important to note because it is uploading like more pictures probably than you need. Okay. So if I want to change the default play, I can stick it in here as default. I can delete this thing. I can open up a bigger view of it. I think we covered tags. So I could call this, base offense. I could add a tag, base offense 2024. And then when I go into search for base offense 2024, then I can find it pretty quickly. That's important because of something that we'll cover maybe in a different video of installs. I've still got all of my related stuff. I can get to it quickly. Let's see if I go to tray left spacing. So we've got something on here already. I'm not worried about what's on there. What I'm curious about to show is all the stuff that falls into related here. Inverted veer, X slot, but I can also navigate now to my spacing concept. So if I have a concept, which is usually often what we as coaches share with players, is if I have this spacing concept and I add a video to it or a picture, well, now I have the base place where I can go to. Maybe that picture is out of, we always run our spacing concept out of trips. So now I can stick that concept in here with the trips piece, and then I can say to a player, in fact, I can do it right here. I can share it to either I can share it as a link, or I can tag a player directly on it. I could type in, let's see, I think it's D test, and then faker. If I added this to it, then our player, this is just a fake player, would get notified up here of, hey, a coach has shared this with you. Now going into notifications, we just did this tray left formation, has new diagrams, and now we'll see what we were at just a moment ago. Tray left. Again, these are all the images that we just created out of the desktop application. And the desktop application is really the piece that creates nice looking playbooks. And we've only talked mostly about playbook management because of the fact that almost every coach I know has this place where they've created everything, or they have them in notebooks, or they tagged or saved whatever it is in Twitter or Facebook or whatever, but they don't have a quick way to go find those things. And again, going back to what we coach, as a coach, I know there's tons and tons of plays in my system that I never have to go teach to a player. I want to be able to find them, but I don't want a player to have to think about them to go see all 10,000 variations. And the last important piece of this in comparison to the desktop, and this is why I'm not focusing on it right now, is yes, you can go and quickly upload and create everything you can in here, but you can use what you're already used to, right? When I started, all our team had was play tools or whatever it is from Huddle. And that isn't a bad system. I don't think it's a bad system. I think I've talked to a lot of coaches who they use PowerPoint. They use Visio, which is a Microsoft application, or there's just a ton of different options out there that if you use what you're most comfortable with, that's going to be pretty consistently good for you. You're going to be happy with it. But you're not going to have a place to quickly use it, especially if you use more than one thing, or you're coming from one other place than another, or you just want to upload a picture that you drew on a napkin. All of those things just kind of get lost into places that are notes or whatever. So I'm going to stop right there. That gives a lot of detail on managing a playbook, how you can use that to organize everything you do, really increase your flow of finding things that will help you in a game. It helps you win more because as a coach, we all want to be more creative. We all want to use stuff in our playbook that is the same thing with window dressing or whatever you want to use as explaining it. The same thing, but it makes it harder for another team to scout, makes it harder for a defense to think about. Well, when we go as coaches to look at those things, we're like, well, my playbook has this one and I need a picture of it. Or we don't have all 200 options in front of us because we might go in and we can't really think to ourselves, all right, well, I know I have all of these tags that I can use. You know, if I go into, I didn't really cover these, but I'll go into here and just pull it up. You can add a bunch of tags. So I know I have quads. I know I have stack, right? I like stack. I never use stack. Quickly now I can think, all right, well, I'm adding this to my call sheet. Let's do it with stack. Let's do it with twins. Let's change those things really quickly. Those are pieces that start to create a more powerful game plan. They create a more, not interesting playbook, but useful. That creates the playbook that you really wish you were focused on rather than just, okay, I mean, obviously all of us go to do install in the spring. We get our base stuff in, but when we go to play teams in the season, being able to quickly see and understand what am I thinking on these pieces? Why did I put all of these tags in there, right? Because for a lot of teams, we use these things, but we don't have, if I have 10,000 plays, I don't have the time to think through each one unless, as all of us coaches, you're ruining your life, spending too much time on football, and you're probably still not getting to those things. So there you go.